You know that feeling when you see another coach launch maybe a group program or an online course and you think, wow, maybe I should do that next. Sometimes you've been coaching for a while and it feels like that natural next step. Or other times you've just started and you see people doing it so confidently and it looks so easy that you think that looks amazing. If I do the same, then I will have exactly what they have got. And it makes sense. You want to reach more people, create more freedom, move away from trading time for money. And it really sounds like the obvious next move. And this has been amazing for me. But what I see time and time again is so many brilliant coaches start building online courses and group programs before they have any audience in place to sell those things to. And I completely understand why it happens. The desire to help more people and create freedom is so strong. And I have been there myself. It's really heartbreaking to watch because they have spent thousands of pounds, and not just thousands of pounds, but hours in wasted time in their business, recording a course that's probably never going to see the light of day because they're not at the stage of business to be able to consistently sell that thing. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do these things. It just means that you should be prepared to learn the lesson, lose the money, lose the time until the time is right for you. I did exactly that at the start of my business, saw other people launching one-to-many offers, group programs, memberships, online courses, all the things. And like most people, have no idea what it takes to really get those off the ground. But years on from purchasing that course, I have made a lot of money from my online course and group program. So, whilst it wasn't the right time for me at that stage of my business, years on, I can be grateful that I did continue and persevere. And eventually, it was the right time for me. But really, it probably delayed me 6 to 12 months of my journey. The income I could have been creating in that time, the clarity I could have been getting at that time, the audience growth I could have been building at that time. So now it genuinely breaks my heart when I see people naively go into this route without realizing the back end systems that you need in place to make this work. So, in this episode, I would love to help you work out if you are ready to create a course or a group, and if not, where to focus your time and energy first. There's so much noise about scaling in the industry. Everybody talks about courses, memberships, passive income, but nearly every single time it isn't a shortcut. It multiplies what is already in place. If you already have clarity, clients, systems, a proven process, then that's great. A course will multiply your success. But if you haven't got a clear niche, you are figuring out what to offer, you aren't great at marketing yet, you aren't gaining consistent sales, then scaling too early or trying to scale too early just multiplies that chaos. Niching is even more important in group programs. So it's not a way to escape the niche drama. A group needs to be even more niche. My first group that I joined when I started out in business was kind of disappointing. Now I look back because it was filled with multiple different business owners at multiple different stages. So there were people 10 years in business doing product-based businesses. There were people that hadn't got any idea about what their business would be. There were people like me that were a few years in, still finding their way. And in reality, it was really hard for that group to gel because we weren't on the same journey. We didn't have a shared goal. So if you are going to create a group, make it as niche as possible. Same with a course, make it as niche and specific as possible. So let me walk through 5 readiness checkpoints so you know if it's the right time for you to go down this route. Number 1, you have a proven offer. You've worked with several clients one-on-one, you've refined your process through experience, you have seen results and can clearly describe the transformation that you help clients achieve. If you haven't had that yet, then the next step is really simple. Get out there, get people in that space, even if it's for free, as much as you can do to test your process, gather feedback, refine your approach until you can confidently say, this works. That may even be getting people into your group on a beta offer so you can test it. But just know that it's usually not as simple as putting out a post saying, would you like to join my group? And it's low cost. Because another thing I've seen is people think if I create something cheap, because people keep saying they can't afford my one-on-one, then maybe they will buy it. But usually they won't buy it. My cheapest online course gains the least sales of everything I do, despite it being an amazing course, even if I do say so myself, because people don't always want cheap. They want huge support, they want utter clarity, and they want your offer that has the top results. So I can easily sell my 4K program. What I can less easily sell is my low-cost digital course. So don't think if I make it cheaper, it will make it easier to sell, because that's not always the case. Even if people in discovery calls tell you that it's too expensive, that's not always the real reason. It's often that they don't see the value in what you are offering. So you need to refine that niche, that offer, and that message you are putting out there even further. Leading me perfectly into step 2, which is you have clear messaging and positioning. You know who you help, you know what they're struggling with and how you can help them. You talk about it in a way that makes sense and people really get. When your niche and offer is super clear, people will start coming to you because they understand what you do and what you can do for them. Step 3, you have consistent leads and sales. This is the really hard part, but before you scale, you need a steady way that clients can find you. If you are struggling to get one client in the door, then sadly creating a group or a course where you need to get multiple clients in the door at the same time is not usually your next best move. I remember working with one of my very early clients, and she really wanted to do this, so I supported her as best I could, even though I warned her that it could be really difficult considering she hadn't had any one-on-one clients at this point. But she wanted to do it, and I completely get it because I was the same, and I launched all of this well before I was ready. But it pains my heart to this day because she completely burnt out with utter exhaustion and disappointment that her launch didn't lead to the result that she wanted. So that is why I'm super passionate about sharing the real truth behind launching courses and group programs, because they are often really hard to sell. And I say that from someone who has sold a lot of groups and online courses. So I will talk more about the benefits, which are huge, depending on your stage of business. Step 4 is you have systems and capacity. Scaling means more people, more logistics, more admin. So you would want to be super sharp with your tech, your onboarding, scheduling, communications. You would want to understand how to do those things. You also want to feel excited enough to hold those group calls. But in all honesty, those things are often simple. The main warning here is actually filling the group versus running the group, because as practitioners, we find those things super easy most of the time, even though often we are quietly petrified. We usually can do it deep down, and the delivery is not really the problem in my experience. Step 5, you want to help more people experience your work. Most coaches I speak to aren't trying to escape coaching. You often love what you do, you want more people to experience it. And this is the best reason to create a course or group. I always had ambitions to help a lot of people. I don't know why that is, but I know when I first did my vision, it was about making 1 million people happier, just slightly ambitious and very vague, but I was just starting out in business. So I have always had that bug to get to more people and to help more people. So whenever you are ready, it's an amazing way of helping more people with your work and sharing that in a way that helps people more efficiently. A quick reality check now that you can't skip the very boring fundamentals of business, which is knowing who you help, knowing how you help them, and telling as many people as possible. Those things all need to happen. You can't just jump to scaling. And I think back to when I first launched my group program, The Business of Coaching, which has been running over 4 years now, the one program every single month for 4 years, which is crazy. But I think back to those early discovery calls and the people that I used to talk to, and they'd say, actually, I'm going to go with this other coach because they teach scaling and I want to scale. And I used to think, you can't scale a non existent business. Now I know it's even more true because guess what? None of them succeeded in scaling. And also because luckily the online industry is a bit better than it was a few years ago when I first started my group program, when everybody had really, really high promises, hyped up things about scaling in no time at all. And now most of those people are targeting people who are already making 10K months, for example. So they have learned their lesson and they aren't trying to usually teach scaling to people who are not in a position to scale. But really do be careful because many people do sell groups and online courses to anyone and everyone. And it's absolutely fine to build it. I wanted to build it. Everyone wants to build it. But just know that you might not just sell loads of spaces right out of the gate. It might be years further into your business when you finally make the most of that online course or group that you created. Other calls I used to have were with people saying, everything is good to go. We've got all the worksheets, we've got all the videos, everything's done. We've spent years doing this. Now we just need to sell it. And I used to think, oh my goodness, if only that was the easy part of just needing to sell it. Because here is the real bit. Creating a course is the easy part. Staying behind the scenes, designing workbooks, filming videos, it really feels productive and safe. And despite the fact at the time it can feel hard and it can take ages, it's actually very easy in comparison to selling it. So if you think that part is hard, try step 2, which is actually putting it out there, reaching people, launching something, showing up online, talking about it every day. Those things are often so much harder than just the creation. So let this be your reminder. Sell it first and then build it. I sold the Business of Coaching program before I even had one video recorded, no workbooks, no portal, no tech in place. Sold it live in a 5-day challenge based on what I knew my clients needed, and then created it week on week. I luckily launched it saying that to reduce overwhelm, a module per week would release. And it used to release every single Sunday. So every Saturday night, I was creating the module for the next week. And it's the best way to build because then guess what? Your course is done in 12 weeks, for example, or however many modules you have, versus how long it can take you when you have no accountability in place and you don't need to get those modules done. And you know you're actually producing something for real paying clients, which helps you really figure out what do they need in this moment versus when you are in creation mode and you can just think, oh, it would be so lovely for this to happen. Whereas when you have those clients waiting for this week's module, it really helps you refine your thinking into what they actually need urgently, because more modules doesn't always mean more success. So here is my lesson: sell first and then create. If you are listening thinking, I'm not ready yet, then that's actually great news, because now you know exactly what to focus on next. Start by refining your business. So that might include who you're helping, how you're going to help them, and how you are going to market that offer, because those things don't change. You will just be building all of the assets you need to create and sell an amazing course or group program. One mistake I see often is people think they are too advanced for my program, The Business of Coaching. If you aren't bringing in consistent sales of 3 to 5K months, then the Business of Coaching will give you an amazing offer, amazing marketing, knowing how to grow your audience, amplify your reach, amplify your influence, create great case studies. It will ultimately leave you in the best place to be able to launch that group or online course that you want to. If you are nodding along thinking, yes, that's me, then you are probably ready to launch your group or online course. You've proven your process, you know your message, you have an audience, you have clients coming in, and you are craving a way to expand your reach without taking more of your time. This is when a course or group is really, really achievable. Yes, it takes a lot of hard work to launch and create that launch plan. It takes knowing how to do a masterclass or live series of some sort to help you to get those people in your world excited about what you're going to offer. But it really is possible. With work, you can create this and get the life that you desire. When you have put in that groundwork, you can achieve anything you want. Saying this, I also want to say that your group can grow. Like mine grew from 2 people to now hundreds of people that have been through my program. And when I launched it, I just had 2 people. So please don't be scared to try, but don't be disappointed if your online course or group program doesn't make sales. I just want you to know that that's completely normal, and it's no easier to sell than one-on-one coaching. So the question isn't, should I create a course or a group? It's really, what stage am I at right now? What do I need to focus on now? When you focus on the right thing at the right time, then you will make so much faster progress. Every stage has a purpose. And once you master this one, scaling becomes not just possible, but inevitable. If this episode resonated, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please drop me a line on LinkedIn as Joanna with an A and Lot with 2 T's. I would love to hear from you. If you want support in getting your business to the point where scaling and creating these programs feels like the next obvious step, you will find all the details to the Business of Coaching in the show notes. And I'm behind the scenes working on a program to help you create a course or a group program. So if you are feeling like that is what you need and really, really want to do this, then do drop me an email, joanna@joannalotcoaching.com, mentioning course waitlist, and I will let you know as soon as I have that in place. I just wanted to be super transparent about who's going to get the best results from this program, because I know most people don't share the behind the scenes because they are mainly interested in making sales, and I want the right people to come forward so I can help them to get that success that they are after. Thank you for listening today. I hope it was helpful. And like I always say, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalotcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lot with 2 T's, joannalotcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly and try.